never think, I never know. I'm stuck and left alone. I've been lost, I've been fine. My cause is not defined. Won't you kiss me? Won't you play? Won't you drive me? Ain't no way I could deny you, I could stray. Won't you kiss me? Ain't no way. Won't you? Won't you come and try me now? So come and try me now. I was never left alone. Never think, I never know. I'm stuck and left alone. I've been lost, I've been fine. My cause is not defined. Won't you kiss me? Won't you play? Won't you drive me? Ain't no way I could deny you, I could stray. Will you kiss me? Ain't no way. I was never left alone.
What's good? What's good? What's going on? What is cracking? How are you guys doing? What is cracking? What is going up? Welcome to the 1/3 show. What is going on? I think this is the last show for February. This is the last show for February. Indeed, it is. It's 28 days in February. So this is the last 1/3 show for February. Hope everybody is doing great, outstanding. And how was your weekend, and so forth. We start promptly around here at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7:30 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It is currently 11:30 a.m. in the morning, Japan Standard Time. I'd like to give a shout out to the people that are in the audience as we're talking right now, as we're speaking, waiting for more people to come in. But as you can surely see right here, so let's give a shout out to the people that are in the chat as I do the roll call. What is going on, Supreme Elder JustaskChar? How are you doing today, Supreme Elder? Hope everything is great. Show was great yesterday. If you didn't get a chance to catch it live on CRBJ, you can check it on Mixcloud. You can check the replay on Mixcloud. Very good, but you need to check the show live. You know what I'm saying? It's always live. You know what I'm saying? Get over there to CRBJ. Check on the beat on Wednesdays also, and then keep that dial right there because we have our incredible Char Willie on keeping the beat with our lovely classic Ruby at all times over there. Love the music selections and things of that nature. And speaking of which, the Quincy Jones of this space, our incredible JustaskChar Vice Channel, especially tomorrow. There will, it's an open panel discussion. She always have wonderful topics. And keep that dial on and come back on Saturday where there is article reactions with our incredible classic Ruby with Char Willie. And then we will go back to CRBJ for the backyard barbecue with our Supreme Elder DJ Music. What is going on, RVSOP, Europe? What is cracking? What's going on in the building? And to many others that are showing up. Just wanted to say hello to everybody. We have our Callie Jane 79 in the building. Greetings and salutations to you, esteemed sister. What's going on? We have CRU Reality Foundation Negro in the chat also. Good evening to you too. What's going on with your crew? What's cracking lagging? So to everybody, to each and everybody, I hope you had a almost lovely week. You're almost down at the home stretch. This is a pre-Thursday. Okay, so pre-Friday. That's what we call Thursdays, right? Thursday's usually lady tonight, if I'm not mistaken. But we're going to get down to it, just waiting for people to get in here for a little bit before we get it cracking. You know what I'm saying? You never start the sermon off well. The weather's been a little bit crazy lately, haven't it? You know what I'm saying? The weather's been a little bit crazy. Good evening, Sister Vonda. What's going on? How you been? Welcome. The weather's been crazy as of late. A lot of things have been actually happening far as the weather. It's been a little hectic over here. Last week, the weekend, it was really good. It was like 65 degrees. No, it got up to 60, 65 degrees. It dropped down in the middle of the week. So back to about like 30, 40 or something like that. Right now, it's at 55. The plum blossoms have come out already. You know what I'm saying? The plum blossoms are coming out already a little bit earlier this year than most, I guess, because of this weird weather and so forth. But how's the weather where y'all at? Because Texas, I think they're, I saw something on Instagram. They was like, there was some memes going on about how it was snow and then it was sunshine. It got up to 65 or something like that. So that's good that people are not frozen and stuff, but people got to deal with the aftermath of a lot of things. And we want to touch on that also. We're going to touch on leadership with that also. Okay, so we're going to do so. Stay tuned for that. But yeah, it's just been a myriad of things that's been going on. It's just been a myriad of things. So how's things where you guys are at? I heard Shar said it's just warming up in Chicago, 39 degrees. Okay. Okay. Yeah, 39 degrees. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. The disrespectful wind and stuff over there. Music said it's almost time for Cherry Blossom Festivals. Yeah, it's almost time. But this COVID is putting a little damper on it. So you know how Japanese like to huddle up underneath the cherry blossoms and eat outside and a picnic and stuff like that. So that's going to be that's going to be a tall tale with this COVID and stuff like that. We still in a state of emergency over here, so a lot of things are closed back down. The numbers aren't nowhere near as bad as it is elsewhere, but it is how should I say it? It is what it is, taking the necessary precautions and stuff like that. But yeah, it's almost cherry blossom season, so I think March, like first week, second week in March, yeah, because they're in full bloom, like they really in full bloom right now. Was it? So that being said, hey, 39 degrees. If you're saying that's 39 degrees, that's warm. That's what it is, right? So what we're going to do right now is we're going to get into our first story. I'm gonna add this story. I'm gonna add this story to the stream, and we're going to talk about this guy right here. We're going to talk about this guy right here for right now. And if you didn't notice, it was this thing that went viral because this COVID has really been strapping people financially. It's been really strapping people financially. people that are not used to, dealing with this, because there's a lot of people that ain't, I'm like, fortunately I came from, meager beginnings. So you know what it is, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, all right. So before I know y'all probably like, what is this box behind me? So I got a new air purifier because allergy season is coming here like really fast, like really quickly. It's been windy for a couple of days, so we got a brand new air purifier. I got to take the box to the recycling spot. But yeah, that's what that is behind me. I usually keep my doors closed behind me because this is my living room behind me. But anyway, moving right along. Don't pay that no attention. Don't pay that no attention. The producer's going like, you should have been looking at that. Yeah, you can't see it now. Yeah, so we going. Yeah, there we go. All right, cool. So, all right, now y'all can't see it. All right. But anyway, but like I was saying is people are really struggling right now. And it's a lot of mental strain on people, because if you're not used to dealing with something like that, or starting from that place, certain people they've been affluent in life. They don't know about the struggle. They don't know about making $20, $30, $40, $50 stretch for a whole week. Just going to the store whenever they're hungry and they can just purchase things. They don't understand that. They don't understand how you just keeping your head above water. You just surviving enough to go to work the next day to survive, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got a whole bunch of problems and there's no way out, and you just got to survive. And a lot of people can't take that. So we're going to bring a person into question, and we're going to talk about we're going to talk about this guy right here. And what I mean is, we're going to talk about this guy right here is with this gentleman. He went viral, and he started this post on, I think he did it on TikTok first. So let's bring him up. Let's talk about it, and let's do it.
Sir, DoorDash understood what it's like to be a driver. Like, I just spent 45 minutes on a delivery and had to pay $3 to bring this person their food because there was no free parking anywhere near their building, and they refused to come out and meet me. They tipped me $1.50 and Uber paid me $2.50. Like,
now check this out, right? And this is really hard. Okay, so they tipped, he delivered the food and he only got paid $2.50 for the delivery. Then the person tipped them $1.50. So you're looking at $4. And he had to pay $3 in parking, so he only made $1 off of a food delivery. And he didn't even make $1 because I don't know how much it cost him in gas to get there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Vonda, he's crying. Yeah, he's crying, Vonda. Yeah, he's crying. Yeah, So let him continue.
I got approved 3 times the rent for income in 2 weeks, and I can't. And it doesn't matter that I'm working multiple jobs. It doesn't matter that I barely sleep and can barely afford to feed myself. I'm about to be homeless for the 3rd time since May. And it's all because people don't tip their delivery drivers. Like, how hard is it to throw us $5?
Okay. Then I got to bring myself up on the front screen on this one. Okay. I'm confused on this one. But listen, I'm not laughing. Okay, yeah, I am laughing at the situation. But listen what I'm saying here, right? The first person that he blamed is how hard is it for people to tip their delivery drivers. Well, if you're working Uber Eats and that's your main form of income, and it's a pandemic, and this is the third time that you're going to be homeless since May. And you know, everybody's been going through a rough patch or whatever, and you're blaming that you wanted the person that's receiving delivery to get an extra, to throw you an extra $5. How much did his food cost? Like, what did you? He tips. He gave you as much as he could. I'm like, it's a pandemic, B. Like, what are you talking about? Like, maybe if you wasn't on TikTok complaining in the car and picking up extra deliveries to make up for what you lost, maybe. But that's just me. Let's just keep going.
So I just want to take back one thing that I said in my video that blew up. It's not entirely the fault of people who don't tip.
Oh, I think the internet got him for that, right? I think the internet got him for that, right? Let's continue.
It is absolutely these companies like DoorDash and Uber who don't pay their drivers very much, who charge these extreme delivery fees and pay their drivers $2.
Yeah.
We do, however, live in a society in America where it is expected that most of a service worker's income is based on their tips. We usually make minimum wage or less because companies expect customers to tip, and this.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Like, because let me ask a question to the people in the chat, real quick. To the people that's in the chat, real quick. And this is just me. Okay, this is just me. Whenever you go to a restaurant or something of that nature, they always hit you with like a service charge, right? Like, because you're getting served, right? So you pay tax on, you pay for the meal, you pay the tax on the meal, then you pay a service charge, and then you know if it's in you tip. Now I live somewhere where you don't tip in Japan. You don't tip unless you at a bar and they got a little tip jar. But other than that, you don't tip because the rule in Japan is that if I want more money, I'll work a better job. But they do charge you a table tax in certain places. Like if you're going somewhere with some friends, you're going to pay a seat to sit at the table, right? But but I do know things are different in America. So, hey, but the thing that I thought about it is Uber Eats and DoorDash is like you are a contractor, right? Like you don't work directly. I mean, you're not an employee of the company. Like it's like a mutual benefit. Like they have a service agreement. Like this is supplemental income for what I've learned and didn't understand. If you go a minimum wage job, you struggle anyway. A-hole corner says move and get a different job. I am with you on that with Sharja. Let him continue. Let me put him on front and center once again.
This is one thing that has to change.
Debris from a Boeing airplane.
All right, so there's one thing that has to change, right? So let me bring myself back on Front Street. Now, since this went viral, I didn't find a video until I did my edits, and he's got like $50,000 on donations from people off of TikTok, right? So I'm pretty sure now he can pay whatever rent that he has, and he says he's going to donate the money to whatever cause or whatever, something like that. From the donations, he's actually saying, "What are you guys doing?" It's on TikTok. I think I got the link in description where you can actually find this guy thanking everybody because they're sending him too much money. Right, they're sending him too much money. But what I want to talk about here in this fact is that Uber and DoorDash, they are quote unquote a supplemental income company, whereas you are working supplemental income, it's for you to make extra money on top of the main income that you have. Now I looked up, guys are making $2,000 to $3,000. So, are you working at premium hours? Where's the places that you're working in? You can work Uber, DoorDash anywhere. He's just doing delivery. Is he taking people places? Is whatever. But it's COVID. People are strapped all over the place. I know people that were working DoorDash and Uber while they were pursuing careers and other things. Like it's more like a college student type of deal, especially if you're just doing a delivery when it comes to the food delivery. But to each his own. Okay, to each his own. Okay, so we just started off with that. Now we're going to get into this next story, and this next story is talking about, if you don't even know, there's a United flight that was flying to Colorado, and plane parts just started raining from the sky on top of people. And this is, they're grounding since it happened, they've ground, like, I think in the fleet of United, I think in the British Airways part of United, they've grounded, like, I think 12 to 24 of the planes to do assessment on what happened. So what you guys, go ahead and play the clip. We're going to go ahead and play the clip. We're going to bring it up.
Minimum wage or less, because companies expect customers to tip. And this is one thing that has to change.
Debris from a Boeing airplane was seen scattered in the city of Broomfield, Colorado on Saturday afternoon, including what appeared to be an engine cowling outside of a home. That's after it.
Now, I used to work like on airplane engines and stuff like that. Like that is heavy. Like, you don't realize look how big that thing is. And it fell from the sky, I think 10,000, 15,000 feet up. That thing fell from the sky, and it's still in one piece when it fell. It didn't break apart. So that thing is heavy. And you can tell this is a pretty well-to-do home. Look at that trailer they got. Like, they got a house and they got a trailer. Look at those trucks they got here. So this is a pretty affluent neighborhood in Colorado.
A United Airlines flight bound for Honolulu suffered a right engine failure shortly after departing Denver International Airport, according to the FAA. A video on social media showed a cloud of black smoke being left by the aircraft.
No. Now, you notice how the kid was screaming and the mom was like, "Mom, it's just a plane." That kid saw something that the mom wasn't seeing. And we're going to show what that kid was seeing.
Blew up.
The plane returned safely to the airport without any reported injuries, United said. There were 231 passengers and 10 crew on board. There were also no immediate reports of any injuries on the ground, a fact that police spokeswoman Rachel Welch said was incredible.
I'm honestly shocked looking at this debris field and how busy Commons Park is. This is a very popular spot in Broomfield. We have the dog park, we have the turf field, there's playgrounds. This park, on a day like today when it's not as cold as it was last weekend, we could have hundreds of people here. And the fact that we are still not getting reports of any injuries is absolutely shocking at this point. It's amazing.
Broomfield police tweeted photos of debris that had fallen from the sky.
Wow, look at that. Like, imagine just walking through, you playing with your dog. You know what I'm saying? Vonda, you're right. That kid was screaming like Chicken Little, the sky's falling. Yeah, you're right, Vonda. Absolutely right. But think about it. Look, what had to happen for something to fall like that from the sky and hit the ground, and it's not broken apart and stuff like that. Imagine that falling on your head, like, or just instant death. That's instant death.
And told residents if they were injured to call 911 ASAP. Police also warned residents not to touch or move any debris, tweeting, "The NTSB wants all debris to remain in place for investigation."
So basically, you know what I'm saying? So basically there's like there's other things that are, you know what I'm saying? There's other things that they shown, like you can actually see like the engine on fire, right? And what happens is the blades broke in the primary compressor of the engine and hit one of the fuel tubes that was inside, because it's a can. Well, it's basically around the engine. There's what they call a can. They got cans in there that push fuel into it and sprays the nozzles, and it goes. And people don't understand the way jet engines work is 25% of the power that a jet engine uses is for the powering and the moving of the engine and the turbine. The other 75% is used for cooling. Right? It's not a really highly efficient engine, but it's faster. You know what I'm saying? So, but hey, you know what I mean? But that's, you know, that's the issue, right? Living by an airport ain't you know what I'm saying, too good, because you can actually see the plane landing, and you're in the plane's flight path, and that's dangerous. That's really dangerous. A couple of houses got hit, so you know people gonna get paid. There's somebody gonna get paid. Luckily, no one got killed and things of that nature, because you could tell it's kids running around and stuff like that. So yeah, Boeing and deregulation. Let's give a round of applause for capitalism and how it incentivizes cutting corners, ignoring quality control, and that is facts. America's capitalism problem, right? America's capitalism problem. That's just ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Greetings, class groupie. What's going on? How you doing? And so now we're going to get to our next story, right? We're going to get to our next story. Now you see what's going on right here. All right. Now watch this. Now this is the Spanish police. This is in Spain. Okay. There's no audio on this. I took the audio out, but I'm just going to talk you through it. So what's happening is if you look at this, this is like camouflage. This is not a real, this is like camouflage if you look at it, right? Right? And this is how they're sneaking migrants in. This is how they're sneaking migrants into the Spanish border. Right? People are paying to be snuck in from top parts of Africa, you know what I'm saying, you know, Middle East or whatever war-torn countries, right? But look look at this, right? Now look at that. Guy doesn't even know where he's at. So how much did this guy have to pay to get in, you know, to be transported like that? This is illegal immigration, and this is what I want you guys to see. And illegal immigration, 90% of the time, happens through the actual ports of import and export, or debarkation and embarkation. What that means is it actually happens at the border where it's actually supposed to help, right? So that means that's trash. Like they hid in the trash and they shipped them in. So why are they in the trash? Like, how could they get in the country through the trash? Well, a lot of countries actually import trash from third world countries to recycle it, to use it as recycled materials for their own industry. Instead of using up their own resources, they actually import the trash, because a lot of the materials that's actually used from those third world countries now, because they're just getting on, they're just coming up to the part of being industrial, and you know, doing their industrial revolution. So they're actually using natural resources to make so the glass that actually is coming from these third world countries, they're actually using natural resources like sand and stuff. They're heating it up, how it was. So a lot of the products that we have are actually third and fourth or fifth time, like the glassware that you're using, the rubber or the plastics that you're using are not actually coming from the rubber trees or whatever that's going on. Is actually being recycled, but they're importing trash now, right? Sweden imports a lot of trash. They burn it as their incinerators to fuel their heat and cooling and stuff like that in their power plants. So how are these people getting in? And this is how they're getting in. They're being smuggled in through the ports. So when they say we need to build a wall, 85% of the illegal immigrants come through or smuggled through ports of embarkation. And that means they're crossing the border at the border crossings at the checkpoints. Just wanted to show you guys that, because we have this new coming thing, this immigrant policy that's coming now. And I want you guys to see that they're going to be really cracking down on that pretty soon. Yeah, 6 figures, right? 6 figures. When people are looking for resources, they'll do anything they can to get where they can. So now we're moving forward. You know what I'm saying? Now we're moving forward.
Texas is freezing, but
so now we're moving forward, and now we're going to talk about the man at the top of the hour. We're going to talk about Senator Cruz. Okay, so we all know that Texas went through a deep freeze last couple of weeks. People's bills were spiking through the roof. It was horrible. It was just terrible. One guy was talking about how he was paying $16,000 because his bill, his light bill was connected to his actual account, and they just took it out. $16,000. His bill went through the roof because Texas doesn't have what? They do not have regulated energy. Even though Texas produces a lot of oil and natural gas, it's all exported. A lot of the counties or the cities in Texas run off of electricity. So that means your stove is electric. The thing that heat and cools and control your house is electric. Instead of having natural gas, or instead of heating your house through natural gas, everything is ran through electric. But they have they have an electric system that is above ground. What happens when you get a deep freeze like that? Your power starts to shut off, and you start to have blackouts and things of that nature. So with that being said, now you're getting this. But the problem is that thing happened because of the people in power that were being lobbied by these electric companies, and people were making money and blah, blah, blah. So what happens when the people in power are not around for you to lodge their complaints? Where do they go? What are they doing? Well, we'll find out. Let's play this for the wonderful people.
Senator Ted Cruz is feeling the heat. He was caught flying to Cancun as millions of Texans are left without power or safe drinking water. Eyewitness News reporter Jory Rand live with new details on the Cancun backlash and what Senator Cruz is now saying. Jory.
Well, Mark, let's set the scene. Texas, many parts of it haven't been above freezing since this past weekend. Tens of millions without power, heat, and water. It was amidst this backdrop that Senator Cruz decided it would be a good idea to fly to Mexico.
Tonight, Texas Senator Ted Cruz under fire as his state was suffering one of the worst natural disasters in Texas history. Millions were without power or water or heat with temperatures below freezing. Cruz and his family were spotted last night getting out of Dodge, flying to Cancun for a beach vacation. Cruz returned this morning and tonight attempted some damage control.
Your question, what was I thinking? I was trying to take care of my family. I was trying to take care of my kids. But at the same time, you're right. As a leader, you need to be here. And you need to be here when Texans were hurting.
And while Cruz admitted the trip was a mistake and he began to regret it the moment he sat down on the plane, listen to how he frames his error.
In hindsight, if I'd understood how it would be perceived, the reaction people would have, obviously I wouldn't have done it. It was a mistake.
So basically saying, because I got caught, I feel bad. But if y'all weren't paying me no attention, I'd have been in Cancun in my Speedos doing my thing. My thing.
stake.
Now, Ted Cruz, you know what I'm saying? Basically, this was something that I took off of Twitter and perspective. And this is Sarah Nelson. And Sarah Nelson says, perspective, whoever the leak is, she, he, they have over 10K at United colleagues and families in Texas who are freezing while their U.S. senator skips town and then tries to lie about it. Ed Ted Cruz is not a customer. He's a public servant who has lied too many times. We're all the leak. So he's trying to find out who the leak is. So he just, because he got leaked. He got leaked, and his wife's text messages to their friends, the friends leaked the text messages. And also further, and the links to the articles are in the description. Also to further this, that he took one of his friends, one of his friends also, one of his college roommates, he paid for them to go to Cancun. Now, listen, me personally, if the whole nation is under whatever, I want to make sure my family's secure. Now, this is actually protocol. I'm going to let y'all know. I'm going to explain this to y'all. This is protocol. When they had this big earthquake over here in Japan and the tsunami thing happened, the higher officials, the envoys, the ambassadors, the higher military people or whatever, they got their family out of Japan ASAP. Like, they got them out of Japan. They was gone. They came in the middle of the night, had to pack their bag, and they whisked them back to the States. They was gone. Like within 2-3 days, and the people that didn't need to be here within a week, they was gone. The people that didn't need to be in Japan, they were gone, and it looked like it looked like The Walking Dead. Everything was just gone. People were whatever, right? Because people didn't know what was going on. It was rolling blackouts, blase, blah. But the leadership stayed. They got the family out, because if your family's secure, then you can concentrate on taking care of your job and the people at hand. He didn't do that. He didn't just get his family out. He dipped out with the family. But he does have a history of calling other people out, especially Barack Obama, about when he took his vacations and stuff. But you know how that is. And Ruby says he doesn't care not one bit in a way, and I don't blame him. If you can send your family to a beach knowing that mess, wouldn't you? Yeah, I believe it, but he went with him. That was the problem. No one's blaming him for sending his family, and I don't blame him for sending his family. Secure your family, make sure your family's straight, but you are in office because the people voted you in, and you got to make sure the people are straight. But it was basically him that was getting that lobbyist money. You know what I'm saying? Exactly, Ruby. Yeah, facts. That's where he proved he's a coward. Exactly, Ruby. And that's what I'm saying. Like, he proved his cowardness. So let's continue. Right? So Ted Cruz is, this is so
$1.50 and Uber paid me.
Sorry about that.
Is not what people want to hear.
Sorry about that.
Raised $1 million for Cruz, who voted against. Cruz admitted the trip was a mistake.
How?
This thing has a hair trigger. So Senator Cruz here. Now this right here is, and I hope you guys can see this. This right here is him. So they put it on Twitter. Right? He was in business class. No, he wasn't in regular class. He was in business class. Now, my thing is this, right? I know they have a quarantine order. Like a quarantine order. I know they have a quarantine order. So does he have to quarantine because he came back? Because he was there and he came back? Because I know you got to quarantine for 14 days. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, educated areas? Yeah, I hope. Hey, man, look, he's just been doing stupid stuff. But they actually put this on Twitter. Cancun to Houston today. They actually had his flight number and his itinerary. So let's play more from Senator Cruz here. So
Cruz, who voted against federal relief for victims of Superstorm Sandy back in 2012, is being called a hypocrite tonight. Just 2 months ago, Cruz blasted the mayor of Austin for taking a private jet to Cabo during the pandemic while telling people to stay home. 4 months earlier, Cruz took aim at California, saying the state was unable to perform even the basic functions of civilization like having reliable electricity. He included New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who tonight...
Okay. Listen, I like to give people their credit when they credit due. I'm just going to let y'all know I can't stand this woman. I got my own reasons, just personally. Every time I look in the news, she like, man, every time I look in the news, it's like she's the face of SJW for everything, like anything, everything. She got like it's this plan with this woman. It's like, I'm telling you, the next person that's going to be president of the United States is AOC. I'm telling you, I'm saying it right now. I'm looking in my crystal ball. Biden's going to go through this term. If he gets through these first 2 weeks, once he gets through this cleanup, Biden's going to do another 4 years, and then you're going to get AOC to run for president, or she's going to be vice something. I'm telling you, they're grooming her. They already desensitized. Yes, she is. I'm sorry. Thank you. Is it me? Is it me? I don't know. It's this thing, like this thing. They pushing this agenda. Like if she's not going to be president, they're going to make her Speaker of the House. They're going to. Look, hold on. Let me listen. I want y'all to understand this. Look at me when I say this. It's the agenda with this woman. I don't care that she's a woman. If it was a dude, I would say the same thing. They did the same thing with Barack Obama. They used to call him, when they give you little things, they call you a maverick. Anything that goes on in the news, she's like, they call it the squad, right? The other women that's in it. Now, the thing that's just tripping me out about is Stacey Abrams basically handed you Georgia on a silver platter, and Stacey Abrams can't get a Senate or a House seat or nothing. Nothing. Can she get a gubernatorialship in Georgia? Can she get something? You know what I'm saying? Like, can she get something? I'm just saying. Like, look. Let's just get back to the content. But she's right about this. Like, I can give people credit. I don't have to necessarily, and it's like I don't know the woman personally, but I see what they're doing, and it's like, anything that's left is AOC. Anything that is right was like Donald Trump. But now it's the one chick from Colorado that almost got everybody killed, and it's the other chick, Marjorie, the other chick. It's the one that don't know about the Constitution. It's the other one. So those are the left. It's like AOC is the minority, like liberal leader, and Marjorie, or whatever her face is like the ridiculous conservative. Like, it's just, I'm sorry, I just can't. You know what I'm saying? I just can't. Let's just get back. AOC is the Bernie of the house. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she should be, because I'm like, but hey, we'll get to that in a second. Let's just get back to it.
Announced she had raised $1 million for citizens of Texas and will be visiting Cruz's state this weekend to highlight what's happening on the ground, something Cruz would not have been able to do from Cancun had he kept his original travel plans. So just how bad are things on the ground? 13 million Texans found themselves under a boil water advisory, but many of those same people had no water to boil. Some in Houston flocking to a public park after it was discovered
Man, this is sad. Like, do y'all see this? Like, this is sad. Like, this is terrible. This is terrible. Like, yo, you got, ain't the Dallas, you got a billionaire owner that made actually more money off of this energy crisis, which is Jerry Jones, and they called him out about that. But I'm like, hey, man, rich people make more money during a crisis. Like, they wouldn't be rich if they didn't. Like, it's you know what I'm saying? You You know what I'm saying? They just had the vice governor of Texas basically said it's your fault as the people because you didn't read. He just came out and said it's in a news article that you didn't read the fine print, that if you would have got fixed rates, your electric bills wouldn't be high. You wanted to get the low rates, but I approved it, so I need to go back and fix our mistake. Capitalism at its finest. You know what I mean? A total socialist government wouldn't have this stuff happening right now. Abrams turned Georgia blue with black, and that's the equivalent of walking on water. Hey, man, listen, AOC went down to Texas to show her face, to give those people something in the time of need. Guess what's going to happen? Cruz look about to lose his seat. Like they about to reach. They about to. Texas is going to be blue. I'm telling you. In the next 4 years, look, all the Californians are running from California and moving to Texas, Nevada, New Mexico, and Arizona. Texas is going to be blue. Guaranteed. Watch.
Spigot there worked, but things are improving in Texas. Power beginning to come back on.
Power has been restored to nearly 2 million homes across Texas.
How many people? Hold on. How many people are in Texas? Let me pull this up real quick. Okay, the population of Texas is 29 million. So that's less than 10%. The population of Texas is 29 million. California is 39 million. Florida is 21 million. New York State is 20 million. Okay, so the population of Texas is 29 million. This is as of 2019. So this is as of 2019. So less than 10% of the homes, talking about raw numbers, got power back on. This was as of last week. Okay.
There continue to be approximately 325,000 Texans without power.
But as pipes thaw and the water begins to flow again, that could mean even more problems.
Guess what we came back to? Our whole apartment! Y'all, I cannot believe this.
There are a lot of water mains that have broken throughout the state, a lot of flooding. Tomorrow, 2 C-17 military planes will be heading to Texas full of water. No military personnel will be helping on the ground, but finally some relief.
Now, let me get this straight. Now, I do have a question to ask right here, right? Because Cerulean's in the chat, myself, I was in the military. I don't know how many other people were in the military. But when you have a statewide disaster or other countries, I remember when they had this tsunami in Thailand and stuff, we went out there off the coast and we helped out. Like they brought an aircraft carrier out. You know what I'm saying? You can power cities and stuff or whatever, but Texas is more inland. But you got the Army of Engineers. You got the Air National Guard. Like, you got all of these people. I'm like, you can scramble the National Guard when it's time for peaceful protest. But you can't scramble, because the governor could scramble the relief of the National Guard in such of an emergency such as this, with people out of power. People need to eat and stuff like that. You can have little heaters, little things set up, in the infrastructure to get that going. So what's going on? I'm just saying. Let's bring it back to Front Street.
After another cold night tonight, temperatures finally expected to break tomorrow and head back up above freezing.
Quote to the natural.
All right, so with that being said, is Texas. So the leadership, Senator Cruz, decided he wanted to dip out while people in Texas were going through, even though they voted him in office. And then when it's time for him to pay the piper or even be there with the people, he couldn't even suffer with the people. He wanted to be in Cancun. You see how he flew back in a polo shirt and some slacks? You see people over there freezing. He left from Houston International Airport to go down to Cancun to kick it. This is sad. This is very sad. This is very sad. You know what I'm saying? So this is very sad. This is very sad. This is very sad. You know, like people are down there suffering, and going through, and then they got to deal with, you know what I'm saying? How should I say it? You know what I'm saying? And people gotta go through a lot of things. And it's the fallout after it's over with. You know what I'm saying? They gotta deal with the bills. They gotta deal with a lot of things, right? You know what I'm saying? And the other lady that I was talking about that's on the other side is Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? So this is it's just mind-boggling how this is actually happening. You know what I'm saying? This is you know what I'm saying? Like, this is mind-boggling how this is actually happening. And people don't even understand, like, Cerulean just did an interesting video on Grey Regime. He just dropped it yesterday about socialism versus capitalism and how they're intertwined, and how capitalism, and this is the results of capitalism, you know, cutting corners, lobbyists. You just saw it with the airlines, right? And I remember during the Obama administration that they bailed out the automakers and the airlines, right? And they're about to get, and the airlines just got another bailout because no one was flying. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So here we go. Now, this was the Texas lieutenant governor, right? And I'm gonna bring this up real quick because I want to actually show you guys what's actually going on with this. Okay. And what I mean by this is, right, here we go. So I'm gonna show you guys this, right? Texas lieutenant governor says people getting huge energy bills gambled on very, very low rate, but suggests they won't have to pay the full amount. So this is Dan Patrick, Texas lieutenant governor. Texas lieutenant governor Dan Patrick says Texans getting huge energy bills took a gamble and lost. In Texas, some energy deals are linked to wholesale prices, exposing customer spikes. After last week's devastating storm, some Texans face energy bills as high as $16,000. It was a military vet that had that issue. Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said Texans faced with huge electrical bills, gambled in hope of cheap deal, and end up losing. Now, we know COVID started, really kicked off really in January of 2020. So people were changing their bills because they couldn't afford to pay the monthly because they weren't going to work. So if you're at home more, you're going to use more electricity because you're in the house. You know, if you're at work, you're not using as much electricity because you're not actually in your home using the electricity other than, you know, your refrigerator or, you know, the basic things that need to be on standby when they're running. So if you're not using that much power and you're paying for premium service or wholesale, then you're going to try to cut back as much as you possibly can to penny pinch, right? No one was foreseeing this was happening, right? So Patrick commented in a Fox News interview Wednesday on the large charges some faced in wake of devastating winter storms in the state. He suggested those in trouble would likely get help, but said that in the future, customers should read the fine print of such deals. So it's not your fault as the customer that there were hitting swing charges. Now, you did sign it and there is fine print, but no one reads the fine print on anything. But you knew that this was a thing and you approved this measure. Well, let me read on because I'm getting ahead of the story. So this is what Mr. Patrick said. I saw the story about the high bills. Let me explain that. We have in Texas, you can choose your energy plan, and most people have a fixed rate. If they had a fixed rate per kilowatt hour, their rates aren't going to go up. He added, but the people who are getting those big bills are people who gamble on a very, very low rate. But if I've told those folks, do not panic, we're going to figure that out. But going forward, people need to read the fine print in those kinds of bills. And we may even end that type of variable plan because people were surprised. Now listen what he says. But going forward, people need to read the fine print. And in those kinds of bills, and we may even, not, in that type of variable plan because people were surprised. His comments come after reports detailing huge price hikes that hit some Texans. One Army veteran said he was billed $16,000 for his power during the storm. He was billed and it was actually taken out of his account. The customers facing huge bills had signed up to buy their power based on its wholesale cost rather than part of a fixed price contract. The deals are a unique part of Texas' deregulated energy market. Deregulated. Usually they leave customers with bills smaller than those with fixed price deals, but they are vulnerable to price fluctuations such as those occurring during the storm. So basically what happened is what you have here is that if you have a non-fixed rate with an electrical company in Texas, you just paid for collision and liability. And basically the collision of your bank account. And now you're liable for it. Whereas if you pay for a fixed rate, even though you're paying more, you're paying for the security of full coverage. But here's the thing. Wasn't the power out for a while? Large part of Texas' energy grid collapsed in the winter after a huge surge in demand, leading the price of electricity to spike by more than 10,000%, according to reuters. Texas politicians, including Senator Ted Cruz, have pledged help for those crippling bills and called for tighter regulation of the energy market. Critics have said that this stance is at odds with their long-standing champion of deregulated markets. Now, I'm thinking when people say free market, right? They don't mean deregulated market. They mean that everybody can participate on a equal playing field. That's what I think when people say free market. Deregulated market does not actually help with free market. Actually, deregulated market actually helps big business. Wow, America will waste no time throwing its citizens underneath the bus and running them over. Right? Let's see what music. All the oil and natural gas in Texas. What happened to the gas power generators during the cold snap? So basically, Texas residents have to become contracted lawyers. Hey, it's true. It truly is tragic. Look at all those Texans incapable of pulling itself up by their own bootstraps, asking for handouts of reduced energy payment, yet they tell the rest of America to be individuals. The ghost of Kinley struck. It's not fluctuation, that's skyrocketing. That's how, exactly. That's highway robbery. That's highway robbery. You know, and this is not. There's another article, right? So back in 2020, right? I'm like, they said this black Bloomberg actually had a report 10 years ago that said that Texas, the way that the electrical grid and the energy grid was set up, it was not set up for if a cold snap came through. Like if it wasn't set up for cold. You know what I'm saying? So 3 days ago, Lieutenant Governor Dan Paxton said the investigations will determine if there were any manipulation of the market. If there was any manipulation of the market, something goes up by 10,000%. Lieutenant Governor Dan Paxton spoke in Dallas Monday, saying that investigators into the state's winter storm energy issues will begin Thursday and Friday. Millions of Texans suffered power outages last week during the sub-zero temperatures due to what was initially meant to be rotating power outages. So what they call this, when your what they call this is when the grid is when the grid is going through basically problems, or it's being like you have too much power, like, you know, it's putting out too much power and there's too much load on the grid. What you do is you rotate, what they call them rolling blackouts, basically, or rotating power outages, basically, so your regular services stay online, like your police precincts, your hospitals, your courthouses, your places of legislation, you know, military bases, things like that, tools of infrastructure, like highway lights, things of that nature, banking systems, security systems. You make sure that your infrastructure stays intact, so you start rolling the blackouts, right? Basically, you start removing the poor, you start moving power from the poor neighborhoods first. And if that doesn't go, then you move up to the suburban neighborhoods, and then you roll it out. So this section, your power will be out there and announce it. So that's what rolling blackouts is. We had to deal with that when they had the earthquake over here in Japan, because they was down a nuclear generator, nuclear plant, basically, during the tsunami thing. So rotating power outages, this turned into many people being without power for multiple days. Patrick said that he and his staff will use the power of subpoena to bring the people responsible for these energy issues to the table this week. He said the investigations will determine if there was any manipulation of the market. We're going to find out what the hell happened. Patrick said, we do not want people to send us your PR guys. We expect leaders and experts from these companies to come. Patrick says that the focus right now is on the gas market and addressing the bills people are having or will have to pay. He says since the last hard freeze in 2011, ERCOT had other state energy officials have been telling them that they were prepared for a winter storm like what happened last week. We have to be prepared for the worst of the worst and not say, well, gee, the system just wasn't up to it, Patrick says. There are no excuses. Patrick said he had a problem with some of the gas-producing West Texan plants that help provide energy for Texans losing power. One thing is clear, you shouldn't be turning off the power for the people who are producing gas to go to the generators that produce the energy. Patrick said Texas doesn't need a single type of energy. He said what the state needs is more diverse portfolio of options to provide power. Well, he's the leader of the House Senate, and he did say that he signed these things into law. So that means that when they're sitting here debating these things, right, do filibusters in the state, and all those donors are giving all of that money, You're not trying to be caught with your pants down, right? Because your senator just dipped to Cancun. You feel me? So then you told people it's their fault, but I didn't think that went over well, right? Because I guess they must have caught you when you was having a nice brisk whiskey in front of your fireplace. You know what I'm saying? With your coming back from your hunting trip. See, this is where you have to watch your politicians, right? You know what I'm saying? So now we're going to talk about somebody, right? Because, I already ragged on Joe Osteen last week. Right? We already ragged on old Joe Osteen, right? Get motivated. We already ragged on him last week. So let's pull up on the chat what we got on the chat. Great Regime says, our Honorable Cerulean says, Ted Cruz is trying to become a Democrat now. Imagine that. He helped deregulate Texas energy, and that was his conservative Republican platform. They cut corners and bet against the winner like this and lost. Exactly. There were also warning people that the water may contain parasites and may be contaminated. Yeah, because they said they had a boiled water warning. So basically, you're basically telling me that your water plant is strictly based off electricity, where your water plant should be on a whole separate grid so you can keep water flowing just in case. But hey, right? Can't, right? So let me dive into this Dallas Cowboys thing real quick. It's all about Texas, right? It's all about Texas, right? But these are the conservative people. I'm like, remember, Texas is a conservative state. It's a red state. It's Republican, right? So one of the biggest Republicans of them all, the great state of Texas, Dallas Cowboys owner slammed over hitting the jackpot with gas prices as Texans suffer. Right? So critics are scorching billionaire owner of the Dallas Cowboys for hitting the jackpot with his natural gas prices amid a record-breaking winter storm that left Texans shivering and dying without heat and electricity. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones is majority shareholder of the publicly traded Comstock Resources, Inc., a shell driller operator in Texas and Louisiana. Investors whopped it up in the conference call over the rocketing fuel prices spurred by the soaring demand in the frigid South. This week is like hitting the jackpot with some of these incredible prices, Comstock President, Chief Financial Advisor Roland Byrne said on a call Wednesday. Bloomberg reported, frankly, we were able to sell a super premium price for material amount of production. Such revealing struck many as at the least insensitive. Jones is doing what he's always done, trying to cash in. Grumble Sports Illustrated writer Michael Rosenberg. Jones was happy to enjoy $325 million taxpayer subsidy for the AT&T stadium that hosts his team, note Rosenberg. Now you see how Jones is treating Texans in their time of need. We call this a betrayal. It is impossible to arrange a fair transaction when one party is in it for the love and the other is in it for the money, Rosenberg added. If all the clothing suddenly disappeared from the state, Jones would try to sell Cowboys sweatshirts for $1,000 each. Robert Reck, who was Bill President's labor secretary, noted that billionaires profiting off of human suffering is a feature, not a bug, of our rigged system. Wow. 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 I'm going to continue to read here. Comstock has already ramped up production in anticipation of the natural gas prices climbing. It's now grabbing super premium prices as high as $170 $9 per 1,000 cubic feet. The same natural gas last quarter that was selling for an average of $2.40 per 1,000 cubic feet. My woo. This, you go from $2.40 to $179. So the companies that fail to invest in the winter equipment benefits from the spike in prices resulting from their own negligence. Meanwhile, the people that serve freeze to death in their homes and burn furniture to boil water to drink. A woman and her child died in the car trying to keep warm. I remember reading that story. Jerry Jones and the Texas Republicans definitely made a killing. This should not be allowed, these prices, and this is at the POTUS, at Joe Biden, at VP, at WAC, Oversight Dems, at Rep Katie Porter. This should not be allowed, and these price gougers for profit must be held criminally liable. Customers must be protected. The filthy rich don't care how they get their money. They steal from the poor and pad their pockets. They can't do a damn thing about it. This is exactly what our Texan politicians wanted, a grid free of federal regulations so they could profit. Never mind Texans are suffering while these asshats stuff their pockets. Wow. 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 For the people in Texas, my heart goes out to you. But this is why I call the United States of America the land of the freedom of chaos, right? Too much freedom without regulation leads to this. Socialism ain't such a bad thing, is it? Big government and regulations is not such a bad thing. You wanted states' rights, and this is what you got. Guns ain't doing you no good when you're freezing to death. They're going to take away our guns. Yeah, they're going to take them guns away. They're going to take them away. Yes. Them old liberals over there. And the liberals ain't and to you liberals, to you far left people, only want to pick and choose when you want regulations. Too much freedom leads to chaos. So the water may have contaminants in it. The government truly doesn't care. Yeah. This is how big business pull themselves up by your bootstraps. They don't. Okay, so before we get to burn the plastic ones, Jim Bob, till the power come back, hold my beer. Let me show you how to get this done there, boy. But for the people in Texas, this is terrible. But I did remember when Hurricane Katrina was going down, how y'all was looking down at those people from Louisiana. I did see that. I did remember that. I was actually in the military when y'all were looking down on those poor folks that were trying to get some type of help when they were sitting in the Astrodome in Houston, talking about that they was an infringement. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, when you pay, federal regulations are there. Your taxpayer dollars are there to keep these companies honest. basically. You're paying taxpayer dollars to make sure that the product that you get is the product that you're paying for. All those people that have been paying money, that grid shouldn't have went down over 2 inches of snow. Double redundancy is a thing. So that's it for the Texas water crisis. So before we get into that, we got to pay some bills around here, people. That's right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to run these commercials real quick. All right. So let's get it done.
From the JustaskChar Advice channel on YouTube. Join me every Friday night at 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time for an open panel discussion. You'll find myself, Classic Ruby, and others giving our honest opinion, giving several examples, and problem solving. If you have an email for advice, you can send it to JustaskChar@gmail.com. Hope to see you soon. Peace.
All right.
Join Char Willie and Classic Ruby for their radio show, Keep the Beat. They broadcast every Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on CRBJ, Classic R&B Jams. There are discussions of the songs, and that can take you back down memory lane. If you missed the live broadcast, no worries. Replays are uploaded on Mixcloud. So, follow JustaskChar Advice channel on Mixcloud, and you will receive the notification when these broadcasts are uploaded.
Hi.
So you can check Char actually tomorrow on our on JustaskChar Advice channel. You can check that tomorrow, and then you can also check, like I said before, Saturdays on the JustaskChar Advice channel. You can also check article reactions with her and our esteemed lady Classic Ruby, and then there will be the Sunday Backyard Barbecue on CRBJ with our esteemed elder DJ Music, and then on Wednesdays you can check On the Beat with our esteemed elder DJ Music on CRBJ. And after that goes off, there's also Keep the Beat with JustaskChar and Classic Ruby. So we got things lined up all week long, and then you can come back here on Thursday and check me out on the, 1/3 show. So with that being further ado, we're going to get into the bottom half of the hour, and we're going to get to this one story that I thought needed to be talked about. And this is Cam Newton. Okay, he was in the news recently. He was hosting a football camp that he's been actually doing for 11 years, and there was an altercation with him and a young man doing this.
See me asking the young man, where's your dad at?
So basically what happened is the young man was trying to get like a little opera. He was trying to get some type of quote unquote fame. You know what I'm saying? And what happened with the young man, he kept telling Cam he was trash, he was ass, he was yada yada yada. And Cam runs the camp. Now, for a lot of people that don't know who Cam Newton is or does know who Cam Newton, other than his dress style, sometimes he does wear a lot of eccentric stuff. You know what I'm saying? But Cam Newton is a Heisman Trophy winner. Cam Newton is a MVP. He's a black quarterback that is an MVP in the National Football League. He's a former MVP. He's former, I think, a #1 draft pick. And Cam Newton, is very successful. He's made over $100 million in his football career. And he told him, "But I'm rich though." And then he told the kid this, and this is what he said to the child.
But to me, talking to a child with everyone looking does me no good. So instead of speaking or going back and forth with a child, I wanted to have a man-to-man conversation with his father. I've given my time, my energy, and my expertise to these kids coming into our program for over 11 years, and that is not what people want to hear or even want to see. So Acho, man, you like how Cam Newton handled this one? I know, it's crunchy. We about to go there.
That whole situation was so frustrating, Marcellus. It makes me grateful for those dirty slaps I
Hey!
received as a kid.
Idiot.
It makes me grateful for that one dirty slap I got across my face. Because, boy, these kids out here wilding.
Wow.
I like how Cam Newton handled the situation.
You do?
And I do because Cam Newton was at least speaking facts. The kid was telling lies. You a free agent. Cam Newton is not yet a free agent. Cam Newton retorted, I'm rich. Cam Newton is rich. Now, maybe one day Cam Newton will be broke, and maybe one day Cam Newton will be a free agent. But as it stands now, the kid was telling them lies, and Cam Newton was speaking those facts. Cam Newton is a grown man. And I've seen some people say, why are you entertaining or engaging with the kid? Cam Newton's still an athlete. He's still a competitor.
Still a person.
And he's still a human being. So if you clap, I'm going to clap back. Hey, look, bro, I probably shouldn't do this in L.A., but, like, if somebody honks at me unnecessarily, you know what I'm going to hit them with?
What?
If you
Stop
my
that
homework too.
Now. I'm just telling you.
My homework too.
It will detonate on your ass. I'm telling you.
On your end.
I'm telling you.
I say this
Slow
to
down.
say, bro, like, I
man.
respect how Cam handled it because Cam he didn't lay hands on that kid, and I ain't talking about in prayer. He just respectfully clapped back accurately. Cam is in fact rich. Now, my next lap, I'm gonna talk to the kid.
Now this is this gentleman now here is Ucho. His last name is Ucho. He was an NFL player, and he's up there with Marcellus Wiley. He's also a NFL player also. You know what I'm saying? He's also an NFL player also. Former NFL player, I think Marcellus Wiley, Hall of Famer or something like that. Now, they used to have Jason Whitlock up there, but he pretty much talked himself off the show, basically. They didn't re-up. So Ucho is actually taking the place of Jason Butlock, you know what I mean? So, but basically, I know, right? That's the new style. You gotta blame Shannon Sharp for that, man. I'm like, Shannon got some nice suits, but them things look like they painted on them, don't it? But the thing with Ucho here is I do agree with him now. And the way Cam said, well, let me talk. Where's your father? Because I'm not going to go back and forth with you. Like, where's your father at? Because I need to talk to him, because for you to actually not understand what you're doing right now, and I'm running this, you're not in competition with me, you're in competition with these children, and I'm an adult, right? And you know, everybody's got a camera nowadays. So I know what my coaches used to do back in the day, because they didn't have cameras. And my coach used to tell you to put your helmet on. And he used to grab you by your helmet. Come here, son. And he used to grab that helmet, because if you grab somebody by a football helmet, they can't move their head because that's where everything's at. And he used to shake your helmet around or make you go do a couple of laps and make you duck roll and embarrass you in front of everybody. Now, a lot of times, you know, and we're going to get what Marcellus has to say, because he's taking it from a different perspective, because that's his job and certain things like this. But this is how men did. Now, you got to realize this is a dynamic on men, right? This is a young man. This is a young man challenging a grown man on a football field where you have a license to assault another man within the frame of the rules. That's what sports are for. You know what I'm saying? So let's hear what Marcellus Wiley has to say.
God, that was entertaining. That was funny. I think it was off. I don't like how Cam handled this.
Do this to me,
I know this is tough.
Do this to me.
I'm gonna get at the kid too with gloves on, but Cam, I gotta take my gloves off. Oh, that kid hit him where it hurts. Bullseye. Right there where Cam is psychologically wobbling right now. This is why I don't like how Cam handled this heckler. Because hit dogs holler. And when you get hit, I don't care what the size of the rock was. Your first issue is who threw it. Now, Cam, once you know that a kid threw a rock, it's time to call the dogs off. But don't be the hit dog in this situation. And Cam sounds like the hit dog. You know how much I love Cam. But let me tell you why this is a bullseye. My daughter every day hits me. As soon as I wake her up.
Now, here's the thing, right? And this is the thing. That kid was not a heckler. right? A heckler is a person that pays for admittance and he's a spectator. And he wants to, you know, Jones with the person or throw the person off their game if they are a performer, right? Cam wasn't performing, he was teaching. See, he's not even giving Cam the respect that he deserves because he was in a position of authority to teach said child. You get what I'm saying? So you don't have hecklers in the classroom. The field, that camp was for really talented kids that actually paid a fee to get a one-on-one tutoring session with Cam Newton, a professional of the highest order. You know what I'm saying? So this is a child. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? This is a child, right? And this is a child, and he shouldn't have done that, right? But he was taught to do that. He was taught to do that. But I'm gonna continue to play this.
Hey, baby, hey, daddy. Hey, yeah, she does this. It doesn't hurt because she's a kid. And you know what? This is a situation where emotionally, whatever this kid is saying, it shouldn't hurt. Now, the kid is disrespectful. I'm gonna get to that. But Cam, no matter what this kid throws at you, it shouldn't hurt. In life, I always use this measuring stick. I always use this as the line of declaration of should I go to war with this person or stall them out. I check their life receipts. I check their life receipts. I don't care what you're talking about. I'm caring about who you are because you may have influence. This kid doesn't have enough life receipts for us to even check. So therefore, no return of fire. I can't shoot back at somebody who can't shoot. This kid, who knows what he will be? Good luck to this kid being whoever he wants to be in life because this kid doesn't understand the road ahead to even become ass Cam Newton. Do you know how far this kid will have to travel in the game of football to become ass Cam Newton? The kid doesn't know. That's why Cam has to know better in this situation. Look, it calls for Cam Newton to be more mature in this situation, and he didn't handle it wrong necessarily, but he shouldn't even return fire on little man.
See, I don't agree with that. And see, that's the problem with young people today with these kid gloves, right? And this is the softness that we have as men. This is a man that's sitting up here. He has children, right? And he even said, if you go check the whole thing, he even said that if that was his son, when they got home, they was going to have some talking to. That's the problem. And that's the issue why we have a lot of derelict children today is because of stuff like this. Oh, let that slide. No, because if he doesn't set a precedence on this child, the rest of the children are going to act the same way. You have to make an example out of this child. And actually, Cam actually handled that extremely well. That's why I don't have a camp of children. I wish a kid would. I wish a kid would. I remember, I wish, I wish a kid would. But see, the other thing is, the other thing is that with Cam, you know, he got a lot to lose. Like with a couple of years ago was Marshawn Lynch that went through the same thing, and he had to run a woman down and explain himself to this woman because she already flew off at the handle. And this makes men in those positions not want to work with children because of the disrespect.
You threw the notes away. Let's go to war.
Okay, I want to get to my point, but I got to go where you at real quick. Let me go chill at Marcellus's house figuratively, then I'm going to go back to my crib.
All right.
So when I see people on social media engaging with bots, engaging with profile pictures that are of kittens or profile pictures that are like of a hat, I'm like, yo, what you doing? You wasting your time. Right. This person is beneath you. Yep. Lions don't bother themselves with the opinions of sheep. Or my dog Ed Sheeran said, don't need to read reviews if you can't do the things I do. Like, that's real. All of these things are facts. Hey. However, I still see people engage, and I'm like, hey, you know what? If somebody gonna snap back. I'm not mad at you. If somebody going, let them off, okay.
But
let
a
them
kid,
off. Look, bro.
But a kid,
if you want to act grown, what they say, what your parents do say, if you want to act grown, I'm gonna treat you like you grown. If you want to act grown, I'm gonna treat you like you grown. You want to talk grown? Let's talk grown then.
Now you hear what Marcellus said, right? Remember, he was the one that said Cam shouldn't have handled it like that. But then he's saying that he's agreeing with Acho. And the reason why is because he has to play a particular narrative and take it from the sports perspective, not what it really is. Now, even though they're saying what they're saying, right? You don't know if this kid is black, white, whatever. You just know there's a kid at the camp, Cam Newton or whatever. So I do commend these brothers because they're on national television. They're on Fox. Remember, this is Fox Sports. It's also a part of conservative Fox News. So let's just get this straight for a second. This is Fox Sports, and it's also a part of conservative Fox News. So they're still staying on code with saying what they're saying. It's just that Acho is really saying what we really think, but I'm going to really say what we think because this is my platform. I can do what I want. So here we go.
So that's where I'm at with this. Now, as I calm down, let me talk to the kid.
Yeah, we got to.
Let me talk to the kid. Can I talk to the kid?
Let's go.
Let me talk to the kid. If you are in the presence of someone who has been where you are trying to go, shut up and listen. If you're in the presence of someone who's been where you're trying to go, shut up and listen. Sel, I'm trying to be a TV maven. I got a call. Oprah Winfrey. When Oprah calls me, you know what I do? I take my cell phone out, I open up the notes section, and I just start taking notes. I'm also trying to acquire a lot of money in this world. So I've hung out with Gary Keller. He's a billionaire. Keller, owner of Keller Williams Realty, #1 realty agency in this country. When he talks, I take out my pen and paper, and I just take notes. Because he has been, and Oprah has been, where I am trying to go. So when someone who has been where you are trying to go, when you're in a presence, just shut up and listen. This kid is clearly trying to go where Cam Newton has already been. Walk on waters, Cam Newton has already traversed, has already traveled. When Cam is talking, please just shut up and listen.
Because this kid right here, oh my God, his level of ignorance isn't innate, it's taught. Someone taught this kid to be that kid.
I'm glad Marcellus said that. And this is because they're cluing in the part where Cam said he's rich with the kid, but they're not cluing in on the part where Cam immediately asks, where's your father? And this is what I'm trying to drive home. Marcellus just said, this is taught. It's not innate. It's taught. He was taught to be this way, to be this disrespectful, to clout chase, to run out there and be the kid with the helmet on to get the attention. This was taught to him. This was nurtured in the bosom of his home. And Cam didn't ask, where your mama at? He asked, where's your daddy at? Where's your daddy? Let me talk to your daddy because me and him need to have a conversation. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking, where's your father at? Because me and him need to have a man-to-man.
A kid who is so ungrateful that he goes to Cam Newton's camp and disrespects Cam Newton. Now, I was in high school before, and I remember I got invited to the UCLA football camp, and I was excited, and Gaston Green was there. Not everyone knows who Gaston Green is. He wasn't a tremendous NFL player, but he was still Gaston Green. As you said, Acho, someone in front of me, someone who already walked on water and became an NFL player. So every time I saw Gaston Green, I am not lying, goosebumps. Every time he said anything, I was sitting there soaking it in because I was like, whatever he's done is something I want to bring into my program, so hopefully I can accomplish that. This kid lost sight of that because these kids are getting taught something different, which we'll talk about at a later time. But Cam Newton, don't you dare let this kid hit you psychologically were you already having a conversation? Were you already having an uncomfortable conversation with Cam Newton? Cam Newton is
Now, and this is where he has to push the narrative that Cam Newton lashed out at this kid because of what he's got going on in his life because he might be out of a job. This is the part of the psych. If you don't understand the propaganda war, that you're not masculine enough just to let a kid come at you and bombard you, and you're supposed to let it go off your skin. No. How is he going to teach this kid some pride as a man where he is not supposed to cross that line? Because if this kid doesn't learn that now, he ain't going to never learn it, and he's going to run into a situation where he going to be put on his back or he going to be put in the ground. And people don't understand this, and we forgot and we lose sight of this. And a lot of these children don't have the social skills, not because they just wake up in the morning and acquire them. Your social skills are acquired because you are taught that way. You are taught to move and do things in a certain way, especially when there's a man involved and in the home. Men deal with men in a different way. Men deal with men in that type of way. Women are afforded to talk to men to a certain degree because they're women, because that's what they have at their disposal. If a man is acting like a female and he is a man, we have a word for him and we all know what that word is. And that kid was acting like what that word was because he was taught to be mouthy against a man, especially someone in a higher position. If he cannot listen to a man that is a professional of the highest order, that has reached heights that he wish he could ever achieve in his life, then how is he going to listen to anybody else in authority? Okay. So just to give you an update on the story, because we like to give updates to stories as they transform and hold. So he came out and apologized. Okay. So this is the apology, right? And he added, so this is the young man, this is his Twitter, at Cameron Newton, at Barstool Sports, Overtime at ESPN, right? So this is the Twitter thing right here. Let me go back here. So first and foremost, I want to express my deepest apologies to Cam Newton, my entire organization, and my coaches for my actions at the 7-on-7 tournament this past weekend. I did not intend for it to get as far as it did. First, I would like to start off by saying my parents never taught me to people disrespectful. So I think he meant taught me to talk to people. I think he missed something. So you can tell that this is probably a heartfelt apology because he didn't even spell things rightly. And this is a screenshot from his notes in his iPhone, because this is an iPhone he's talking from. And he's typing this from. Taught me to talk to people disrespectful. As a football player, I let my competitive side get the best of me, and it was a huge miscommunication. It was the midst of the moment, and now I realize it now, right? I apologize, and I hope I can be forgiven. Now, let's see. And y'all just saw that, right? And y'all couldn't hear it? Oh, man. Jeez. All right, hold on. Let me roll it back. Sorry. All right. This is off the site, so hold on.
Disrespect, you know, if you want some attention, I'm gonna give you some attention. The right way, bro. The right way. When do y'all play? What was y'all record today then? What did you do? No, I wasn't able to see because y'all was too. All right, bro. What did he do, man? Does he play?
He got speed.
He got speed.
No, he's playing heavy speed.
Oh. Huh? Nah, you ain't don't act shy, nah, bro. Don't act shy. I'm asking. I couldn't see today. You don't watch YouTube. Oh, you watch YouTube? I know you do. You can't watch that crotch, man. Stop. What you do? No, I'm really trying to ask you. Like, I'm trying to see like what you. We do that shit for real though. I'm like, you rep that 215. 205? 215. Okay, cool. I'm just saying. Please don't be one dimensional. Like you said something to me, then I go, I'm really trying to talk to you. I'm not trying to like crack no jokes. I'm just really trying to ask a simple question. It's your fault why everybody's looking, but I'm really just trying to ask a question. But you never said what you did. You said you're gonna see. Nah, coach, it's no disrespect. No, I get that. I get that. Right? Coach, we squashed it. I was literally. I love that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to break the monotony. Yeah. I'm just trying to talk to him. You think I'm trying to pound for him? I'm focusing on you. I'll get happy. Thank you, sir. But y'all don't play no more today, though. Are you good? Y'all play us next? No, our younger team do. Play the not a younger team, but a younger guy. The 18, not 18 in there. 18. Yes, okay, yes, sir. 15. Yeah. All right. Yo, Viper, let's go over there. Hey, come on, in the back of the end zone. Right to the back, little bit. What's up, man?
So basically, you saw Cam's kids behind him. You saw when the kid came up, you're like, yo, you talking all that with them cafeteria Crocs on, right? He said, don't get shot now. Like, what was you doing? Like, was you doing anything? Like, what was you doing? And that's what it basically was. And what Cam did was people didn't see that happened after all that went down and transpired. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And this is the original. So I want to make sure y'all saw the original so we got it all in context. So you guys see this. But like I said, I do take my hat off to Cam. How he was talking. Like he was talking to just some regular dude.
You're a free agent. You're a free agent, Rich. You're a free agent. You about to be poor. You about to be poor. I'm rich. You about to be poor. I'm rich. You're a free agent. You're a free agent. I'm rich. They still rich. Where's your daddy? Let me talk to your dad. Where's your dad? You're a free agent. Where's your dad? You're a free agent. You ass. Talk to. Let me. Where's your dad? Where's your pop? You asked him, you're a free agent. You're a free agent, Rich. You're a free agent. You about to be poor. You about to be poor. I'm rich.
Now, if you notice, he's talking all the way at the back of the line. Cam was just walking past, right? So this is that sparked everything, and what you saw was the aftermath, and he wasn't acting all that because he had his boys hyping him up, right? He was being a little snotty-nosed kid. At the end of the day, he was being a little snotty-nosed kid. And that was disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He's exactly, Ruby. And he got checked exactly. And his coach finally came in and said something, but it was too late. The damage was done. The damage was done. And what Ruby said was exactly right. So, but this is, and the reason why I showed this is that even in that, Cam didn't hold no gripes, no bones, no nothing. He realized what he was dealing with. He's like, man, let me talk to you. Even in that, he was talking because old school, he would have got embarrassed in front of everybody. I done heard my coaches say some ridiculous stuff to kids, to teenagers, with all them hormones and breaking them down. Some of the greatest insults that I have learned in life has came from a football coach. Real talk. Yeah, it was nothing. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? That man was smiling, chill, no tension or aggression in the stance. He was clearly not acting on emotion. He was checking a youngster. Exactly. So what Ruby's saying is, and then, you know what I'm saying? So when you look at things in context, this is that disconnect. But this happens when you're dealing with children, and this comes with the territory because kids come from different situations. But you notice all the children that he had control of, all the kids that he had control of, you notice how they was acting. And the second he told the kid, don't do that, because that kid that came in and said, you over here talking all of that with your cafeteria Crocs on, right? He said, hey, don't do that. And the kid walked away. His kids was quiet, but they felt that, look, we all know how this really would have went. They would have been waiting for him outside the bus. Like, yo, you had all that stuff to say about Cam? Let me put these hands on. It's a tribal mentality with young men, but you can tell how Cam takes care of his kids, and you can tell how that other coach is actually intimidated by the children in which he's around. He doesn't have any agency. You saw a man control himself and have agency, and you saw another man that didn't have no agency. He shouldn't have stepped in then. He should have caught his kid at the time when he was in charge, because as a coach, when you are allowed to be in charge of children, parents sign over to you charges over their children. When you get that, when a kid gets a permission slip to join a football team, then that child is now in the auspices of that coach and their staff. People don't realize that when they're signing that over, and not everybody's built to be a teacher or educator or a coach, especially a coach, especially of young men. And he couldn't even talk to Cam the right way. Say, Cam, I feel what you're saying. I got it. But Cam was still trying to have a conversation with him, and the kid still wasn't learning the teaching lesson. So that means that his area or his environment that he's in does not nurture him to be a respectful and upstanding young man. And he's only there based on his talent, what there is, because he never could answer Cam's question. So what did you do? Well, watch YouTube, you'll see me. No, what did you do today? I don't need to watch YouTube. What did you do today? He could not answer that question because obviously he didn't do anything. I like to bring balance to the show. I like to show things in different light, and this is why it's the 1/3 show, so you think outside the box. Once again, I appreciate everybody coming by, stopping by once again. The producers are screaming at me once again. You know what I'm saying? So we're 20 minutes over, but this had to be talked about. This had to be explained, but it was actually de-escalated. And these are the things that the media doesn't show you that happened after it. And I'm glad that we had a follow-up. The young man apologized. He should look like he's on the right road because he did take agency and responsibility. We live in a social media age where, everybody wants to be YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter famous. You know what I'm saying? And we have a lot of work to do. So you could have been everywhere you could have been anywhere that you wanted to be, but you came through and spent your evening with myself. And for that, I'm forever grateful. The road to 500 subs is still on the table. I'm really trying to get there before the end of the year. I thank you for your support. Like, comment, share the stream, replays and stuff. Pre-recorded content will be coming shortly. I'm just trying to work out, with my own schedule and things like that. Go out there and be safe. Salute to the nation, salute to the nobility, abon noblesse. No one will beg you to be great, but we will hold you accountable. And the first person that taught me that was my football coach. He used to say, son, when we used to do something wrong, give me my poem. We used to hate saying this poem because we had to say it over and over again while we were running. Excuses are tools for incompetence that leads to monuments of nothingness, and those who indulge in them are seldom incapable of anything else. Excuses. I remember that to this day. And I remember no one will beg you to be great, son, but I will hold you accountable. I remember him saying that over and over again. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, Benjamin Eaton. And good night, everybody.
I never think, I never know. I'm stuck and left alone. I've been lost, I've been found. My cause is not defined. Won't you kiss me?